We're live, best hour of their day. Christian, Fern, Ackerman coming to you talking all about how to grow your gym. And we're going to tell you how to grow your gym both in the organic sense and in the paid sense down the road. But the big takeaway from today is going to be do the organic stuff well, do it right, do it because it's free, grow your gym, and then potentially down the road worry about the other stuff. But let's talk all about how they're going to do that today, Fern.
First, like, subscribe, share with a friend, follow Jason Ackerman on Instagram.
I forgot.
Please, everybody.
I forgot to do that.
He's trying to get to 100K. Help the little man get to 100K.
You know what? I do. I want to say thank you because I've not really put that out there. But I think if people know that there's a goal involved, maybe they'll be more like, maybe I'll put that out there.
Sometimes you got to put it out to the universe.
Well, and for all the people who are, I mean, because we've had some people complain about your social media, Jay, particularly naked on the toilet, Jay.
I'm not.
But part of that little behind the scenes is like we're continuing to push the threshold and like grow Ackerman's account. So in the near future, we can teach you guys how to grow your social following. Because one of the things
there's a method behind the madness, and if you guys are paying attention, you'll see it. But the because this is I do believe this has an outsized value to affiliates when done correctly. And that's kind of like the backstory behind the referrals is a form of marketing, by the way. So I think that everybody wants to do paid, and paid is in my mind, paid is subservient to marketing. Like paid advertising is subservient to marketing, and I think that is the way that we feel about it. Again, we don't have any beef with paid marketing. I think there's an order of operations, and that's why we're building things the way we're building them.
You could take a pyramid from the pyramid, right? Like you could do that with anything. Like you could do it like right. Like you could take, hey, nutrition's the foundation of the theoretical hierarchy. What is nutrition? Like the foundation would be maybe water, whatever. But same thing holds true with marketing, right? Like you could take that a slice there and say, what's the foundation? And I would tell you it's your organic social media. Well, I'd have to think a little bit about that.
I think you could go a little bit further than that. Meaning, I do believe that organic would be very low on the base. I don't believe it would be the base. I believe the base would be what's your message, right?
Sure.
Like understand, what is your message and defining core values, mission statement, ITA, all those things first, because you could have great organic content targeted at literally nothing and it wouldn't really be effective.
I think I was going more so like the top would be paid, right? Like we can figure out what the bottom of the middle few levels would be, but then you wouldn't get to sport or paid advertising in this case.
Correct. And I think the whole premise there is simply understanding the pyramid. It's not that one is necessarily more important or better than the other. It is more so a stability and order of operations thing that if you want to get the most out of paid, you would have addressed everything else systematically underneath that, right? Get your messaging correct, understand what your values are and who you're talking to and what your tone is and what your brand represents. Then get into organic marketing. That's social media, email, podcasting, things of that nature. And then you can get into some other, and then paid has multiple tiers, in my opinion. Like where you go and what you do in what order. But the ultimate game is all of them. So you're not a slave to any of them. And
the reality is like gym owners come to us and they're asking questions like, how do I get more leads? What should I post on Instagram? And then they're like, oh, and I need to run ads. I'm like, whoa. Like, if you don't know how to already get leads, that's like, you don't know what you should be posting, you're definitely not ready to throw dollars behind it.
That's essentially saying, hey, I want to get better at CrossFit. I probably should run more, lift more, and then get better at pull-ups.
Well, it is a fine line, right? Let's be a little fair, right? Like it's everybody wants and probably to some degree needs leads, but there has to be some understanding that you can't outsell your ability to serve, right? So like this is the age-old kind of criticism of gym launch, if you want to go down that road, which is like people got hordes of people into the gym and then just fundamentally couldn't serve them well. At which point, if you're doing 15,000 of front end sales every single month, at least a percentage of that should be recurring. That should create MRR for you. But like what we didn't see was $1 million gyms popping up on every corner when they were doing that. It was really high end front end, and then really high churn, really high amounts of lost revenue on the back end. So it ended up just kind of like, for a lot of people, getting them a bump up in their top line revenue, but on a longer timeline didn't change a lot of the businesses. Some people crushed it, but I think that's an operator variable, not like, did the ads work?
I'll tell you a funny story since I'm actually here in Florida. One of the boxes I was coaching at was using Gym Launch, jam-packed. The guy, I don't want to say any names, doesn't talk to me about this, but extended into like a bay next to him, and not even like the one next door. So it was like there was other businesses between. So I was like, this is such a clusterfuck. Like,
yeah, 2 gyms and 2 totally separate facilities that weren't connected.
Yeah, like in a strip mall, call it, but like I don't remember what was between. Like a bank is between, right?
Yeah.
And it was like, also to your point, you did this after 1 or 2 months of busy growth and leads, and then all of a sudden it dried out, and he was stuck with this, like you said, second gym that's not even close by, that's just hemorrhaging money. So that was a big mistake a lot of affiliate owners. But it goes back to your phases we spoke about 2 weeks ago. Like, hey, why are we doing paid ads when the product on the floor isn't dialed in?
Well, there's just so again, I think it's one of those things. Like I think everybody thinks we hate paid ads or we have a beef with paid ads. Like, we do not. We run paid ads. Like,
Yeah,
paid ads is a thing. We're simply trying to communicate that, number one, I'll speak for Jay and I, Christian not so much in this scenario, but like, well, you'll understand why. We've been around a long time. Like, we've seen the results of a lot of these, and again, I just believe that there's an optimal way to do it, and there's an optimal sequence to do it. And I'm not even saying everybody realistically fits in that timeline. Like, again, sometimes you got to do whatever the fuck you got to do. But if you zoom out a little bit, and you'd be like, if I play the infinite game mindset and be like, okay, on a long enough timeline, how would I design this? And that's really what we're trying to help people build, is a long-lasting, sustainable marketing machine that reliably can get you clients that you can then serve for a very long time. And if you outsell your ability to serve, mathematically you will have a churn problem. And then all you're doing now is selling people into bad service.
Well, and then crushing your LTV, crushing your lifetime, gross, all the things are going to go down because people aren't going to stay. And I think the worst part about all of that is the people in your area are getting potentially, this is the argument of like a bad CrossFit doesn't impact other ones, right? Like, the people in your area are getting a bad experience, whether it's the first, second, or third, right? Like, now they aren't going to join Rife down the road in Virginia Beach, or potentially just they'll never come back to your box, and they'll be like, oh, I do like this CrossFit thing. This is just a bad version of it.
Yeah. There's
whether or not they would know that.
Yeah. Well, 2 things can be true at once, right? Like, yes, a bad CrossFit gym can give other gyms a bad reputation, and you don't have control of that. You have control of how you represent your brand. So, like, again, 2 things can be true, right? I'm not saying that, things that happen in the ecosystem have zero impact on it. I'm saying that as a sole owner operator of a brick and mortar, you don't have control of that. You have control of what you're doing with your brand. You should focus there, because you can overcome those things by doing, the basics really, really well. And one of them is
some anecdotal evidence of that. Some evidence of that is I actually had 2 leads come in the past 2 weeks that were like, hey, I tried a different box and I had a bad experience, but I want to try CrossFit, so I'm going to come try your gym.
Hey, I follow up with them before next week. And but what I would be curious about is, why did you check us out? Right. Because I think to this day, the common person doesn't understand. It's not a Chipotle where it's like they're getting the same chicken, beef, whatever. I don't know how that works, but like, you have a bad experience at a Chipotle, you might go to another one because you're like, this was just a shitty one. Right. But like, they have to
not charge extra for guac in my gym, though.
You want to use the strength erg? Oh, that's $3.
That's $3.
Yeah.
RX is extra. RX is extra.
Yeah, RX is. I like that's a good one. No, but to your point, Christian, like, I'm just curious. Like, that's surprising to me, because I think the average person still looks at CrossFit as like, these are all the same. This
Yeah.
one's just in Daytona Beach versus right. Like, so
Hey, I'm a little
I would
disappointed in
be-
both of you. Neither one of you are wearing green, by the way. St. Patty's.
This was like kind of green. I put this on
Oh,
purpose.
actually,
That's yeah.
look at
Is
that.
it
Look at
that's
that.
like a
Green shorts.
just show us your crotch? All right, got it. All right.
I know,
Shout out
like,
CrossFit
so-
Mafia, Brittany.
I was wondering why. Yeah, I'm so out of my.
I was like,
story.
dude. We traveled this weekend. I have like no clean clothes. I was like trying to find a green best hour shirt, which I do have one, and I've like
You have your
Mafia.
the new ones, yeah, the new ones of yours, the Fern
I
ones.
just like Mafia was the first one I pulled out of the closet, and I was like, Mafia it is. So
Yeah, I'm at my parents' house, out of sorts. It is chaos here.
you heard you yelling at your mom to just put Bodie on the toilet and just leave him there.
If
He's
you
been there for 30 minutes.
if I got here yesterday, if you ever wonder where all my bad decisions and issues and all that come from, just come here, spend about 8 minutes around my parents, and you'll be like, all this checks out. 100%.
I don't care. I don't need to know where they came from. I just need to know that you're capable of them, and then I can navigate them.
It's the black box.
Yeah,
we don't care. Right?
I don't care. I just know
figure-
what comes out the other end, and most of the time I don't like it.
All right, so back to social media. Fern goes. You're telling people like where you go for 3 weeks, right?
What?
Fern's going away for
Now
3
that you
weeks.
said that, I don't think we should tell him. I think we should keep it a secret.
Yeah, it's a
Okay,
secret.
yeah.
It's a secret,
Fern-
everybody.
Look, Fern's doing.
I'm going to the moon. I'm going to the
No,
moon.
he's
No,
going to. He's going to
Tinfoil
prison.
hat,
Very
everybody.
short.
We're
Very
going
short
to the-
term.
we're going to the moon.
He's. You remember that? What was that Sylvester Stallone movie where he goes to jail on like weekends only? You remember that one? That's like you. You're like
No.
he goes like they like check in on the. Oh no, he goes during the week and then he gets out on the weekends. I think I don't remember what it was, but it was like if your crime wasn't that bad.
This was probably not at his peak when he was doing Rambo.
No, this is probably like mid 90s, maybe.
This is,
Anyway,
is this pre or post Tango and Cash?
post Tango and Cash.
Yeah,
So Fern is back to Harvard for 3 weeks, and the reason I bring it up is because while you're gone, we've got some great social media guests. Speaking of social media, we got Rod Lopez coming on.
Oh yeah, Meme for Time. If you follow Meme for Time, Rod's going to be on.
Rod's going to be on. Jenny from Dense Updates is going to be on. Who's done a great job with their social media. So I'll be carrying the show along with Christian.
What is okay? Let's talk about what do Taylor and Hiller actually have beef?
I know. I don't follow any of that. I just saw them beefing on the internet, and I didn't really pay enough attention.
I paid so little attention to it. Like if I see it, I'll engage with it very briefly. But I'm just not in the loop on anything in that world, games, competition for the most part. But every once it is when I peek my head in there occasionally, it's entertaining.
They were fighting about. There's too much to keep up with. So let's dig into it. Let's start very, very broadly. I do think and I think this is where Rod and I will dive in, like looking at your social media, just kind of like, does it tell like you said earlier, like, is it on brand?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we'll go through this, but I think first and foremost, looking at an affiliate social media is like, is it pretty easy to find where you're located, what your schedule, like look at it like a secondary website, like your schedule, how do I maybe take my first class or drop in?
Well, and I think it comes down to like really this, like whether it's social media where we were like talking about with ads, is like most of the time, like gym owners want to like jump into these like really sexy tools. And what we're saying is like, hey, like there's stuff that's free or cheap that you're not utilizing. And that's why we were talking about with referrals, where it's like, hey, like we can get a lot of bang for your buck or for free when you say it, because a lot of them are like, hey, we need more leads. And you're like, dude, but you could be doing this thing for free right now and get you more leads.
So here's, I think, a good framing, because I think a lot of gym owners struggle with this. Like, again, going back to like, let me give everybody permission to not do certain things so that you know what to do with your time. So here's the reality of social media. As a brick and mortar gym owner, if you can have a clearly defined strategy executed well, that you have dedicated resources to go to, it has outsized return.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
However, the things that I just listed are few and far between and very hard to come by for a brick and mortar gym. Okay. I'm not saying that shouldn't be the goal. I'm simply saying that in order to do it well, to get the return you're looking for, it's not a little bit of time, right? And meaning it's not a little bit of time just to basically outline your strategy. This is we're not even talking about execution. Be like, who are you? What do you have to say? What are you going to do? All these things. Now, the flip side is very interesting, meaning doing nothing has almost no downside to it, right? Meaning doing little to no activity on social media is not going to negatively impact you. It just won't positively impact you, meaning like it just won't bump you forward. Now,
Right.
so
It's
with
neutral.
that, I just tell people, I said, listen, put enough content out there to let people know that you have a functioning gym. If you are a person who is wearing 87 hats and you're stressed and you're like, I hate social media, I don't know what to do, don't spend a ton of time there, because you're not going to get to the variation of this that has the outsized return based on where you're currently at. So therefore, don't worry about it. We always talk about like there's only 3 to 5 things in any given phase that actually matter to you. Most of the social media stuff doesn't matter until phase 4 or 5, because you don't have the time, money, resources, or data to do it effectively anyway. So, I've tested this. I have literally done nothing on our social media channels for weeks on end, purely to test it. Nothing happened. Meaning like lead flow stayed the same, all that kind of stuff. So if you need permission to not do that, that's fine. Now, I'm not saying that's a good idea. I'm just saying if it's not going to negatively impact you, you can put it off to the side for a little bit and focus on things that will positively impact you, that have far less complexity to them. Okay. So get a little bit out there, but I think it's important to talk about like why people get stuck in the social media game. Right. And this speaks to why people struggle in the paid world. Right. So I call it the 4 C's, or the 4 constraints of marketing: clarity, collection, creation, and communication. Okay. So clarity, this is, what is your message? Who are the characters in your story? Who's your your ideal target audience, your ITA, right? Or your ICP, ideal client profile. Collection is who is the person shooting, filming, where is it going? Is it going to Google Drive, Dropbox, whatever, right? Then creation is, to what degree is this going to get edited? Is this a podcast that needs some editing? Am I going to edit in DaVinci or Adobe, or can this be native to the platform? And then finally, it's communication, like hitting the post button. Now, where this falls apart, like why every gym eventually fails, is because collection, creation, and communication, most people can figure those out pretty easily, right? The tools with which to do all of those will change pretty quickly over time. There was a bunch of third-party apps for a long time. Instagram basically gobbled up all of those apps and made all of those editing features native to the platform. DaVinci, Adobe, iMovie, those are probably your big 3 for editing, film or long form content, right? Google, Dropbox, like whatever, iPhone, camera, gimbal, whatever, like all of that stuff is like pretty easy to figure out. The reason people's social media falls off is because they have not addressed the clarity component of it. And what I mean by that is like, this is the age-old story, which is, I want to get somebody to help with my social media, and I'm like, hey Jay, like, can you do social media? You're pretty good at social media. And you're like, yeah. And you're like, what do you want me to do? You're like, capture cool shit. At which point, 3 weeks from now, you run out of cool shit ideas and you don't know what to look at anymore, because I didn't sit down and say, this is who we are, this is who our client is, these are different variations of what we would describe as, characters in the story, ideal interactions inside of the gym. And this is like the Jeep effect. Once you can show somebody very clearly, this is what we're trying to capture, then they don't have to be creative anymore. Then they just have to be observant. Right. But if you've not gotten to the clarity point, and you don't have like clear brand rules and guidelines and tone and style, then I'm just leaving it up to somebody else. And I just heard this from somebody else who was the other day. It's like 2 things a business owner should never give up: cash flow management and your marketing. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, I could not agree with that more. Nobody's going to manage your cash flow like you, and nobody understands your brand like you do. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't outsource parts of it, but long term, you should bring it in house, all of it, because again, nobody is going to understand your brand the way that you are. So I think it's worth just like framing this whole conversation, like why we think starting with organic and referral and basic social media is the way to go, is because the other stuff is, again, it's triple extension before basic squat stance is what it is.
Well, even before that, and this is why we want to talk about this today, like before you even focus on that, is like your members want to bring in their friends, and most people have no real strategy on how do I make it easier to capture the hottest leads, which are referrals.
So we're going to chat about referrals, right? Is that what you want to chat about, Christian? Is that
Yes,
better,
we're
by the way,
getting
my
into that.
earbuds? I
Yep,
think it
yeah.
was go there.
Yeah. So we
you're
can start with this first question, because I do think this layers into to why referrals I think are important. Can you pull that up? Yep. Okay.
Yep.
So
this dude, he's been around. This guy was always commenting on.
Yeah. Do you make considerations for being in such a high percentage military area, keeping churn higher than normal? I'm just across the water from you in Newport News, martial arts. Oh yeah, he and I have chatted a couple times on Instagram.
Yeah.
So the short answer is, I'm aware of it, but I don't allow it to adjust my expectations for churn. Meaning my expectation for churn is still 3 to 5%. And we've been able to hold that for a really long time. And the question is, how do you do that? Because I will tell everybody, people will be like, hey, I live in a military town, and just so everybody knows, nobody lives in a more densely populated military area than I do. Literally nobody.
Is that true? Is that like the actual truth?
That is the actual truth. Like
Virginia Beach,
you're like the East
Hampton
Coast
Roads is the
version of
most
San
densely
Diego, right?
populated military location in the continental United States. Like you cannot swing a dead cat without hitting 3 military bases around here. Okay, like I could count to 7 before it. Like it's a ton. It's DoD, federal employees. It's a ton. Okay, so I'm well aware of it. That has upsides, right? Meaning like everybody gets paid every 2 weeks, right? It's not just constant churn, but there are transition seasons. So you typically know when they are. They're typically spring and fall. That's what they are. That's what PCS season is spring and fall. So yes, we consider it. And would I be a larger gym if we didn't have people turning over 2 years? Maybe, probably. Who knows? I don't worry about it. But how do you, whether you have a high military town or not, how do you start to combat churn? Every gym has churn. The easiest way to combat churn or mitigate churn is with referrals. The easiest way. It's going to be the lowest cost, warmest, longest engaged client that you will ever get is somebody that was referred, that's showing up to you via social proof. So start there.
Yeah, just think about anything you do that you've stuck with. It was most likely even like a movie you saw, right? Like, hey, Fern told me to go see this. I think referrals are the easiest for any business, the easiest low hanging fruit.
They're not. Yeah, I can hear your crazy dogs. Those are not. It's not going to. You're not going to beat churn. That's not real life, right? Like you're not going to out refer your churn, right? But again, like walk this out. Like if you are going to go do paid lead gen, I would want to have to spend as least to get the ROI that I want. And if you want to do that, then I would want to have good organic inbound, and I'd want to have a good referral machine so that I don't have to spend an egregious amount on paid ads. I have to spend a little bit on paid ads, right? Depending on what platform I'm going, whether that's going to be print or whether it's going to be Google or Facebook or whatever. But I can reduce my reliance on paid ads by and this goes into single channel risk, right? So like if my only outlook or only outlet for additional lead sources is going to be running a paid ad on Facebook and Instagram, you don't control Facebook or Instagram. You don't know what happens when the algorithm changes. I would want to look at multiple variations of those and how I'm doing them. I also think that, part of my experience with agencies, and some of them I like, some of them I don't like, and is that they're, for the most part, they're not brand conscious, meaning they're not, it's a direct ask ad in a lot of instances. It's not building my brand and bringing in people that are going to engage with my brand, whether they purchase or not. So I'll give you guys an example. Like Best Hour is a perfect example. There are literally thousands of people that are engaged with our brand on a regular basis, coaches and gym owners who don't buy from us.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you want to do in your gym, because at the point they do want to buy something, they're going to come to you. And if all we ever did was sell shit and we never gave any resources or we never gave any value, then people are not going to buy from us. So you want to, this is again, going like to the Gary V, jab, 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 right hook. You want to treat your gym that way, and just running challenges and, you know, PT ads and stuff like that. There's a time and a place for it. But if that's your only strategy, then I think that it is suboptimal is not even the word. I think it's just short-sighted.
Well, even that goes beyond ads, because like that also applies to your referral program, where it's like, if you're only ever like asking, then you're going to leave some people who would have joined your gym on the table. For instance, I've had members who are now members who are like parents or siblings or friends of somebody else, who they've been invited to several Bring a Friend weeks, or they've come and done Murph, or they've come to a party, and like, I know who you are. And we've started to form a relationship over like several years, and finally, like, we got you. But they were like, they were somebody who was just like just outside of the circle for a long time, to where they were nurtured. And that's been part of our strategy. It's part of our calendar. It's part of our social events, part of our workout events, that allows people to like engage with our gym without having to jump both feet in. Like there's easier ways to engage.
Yeah, I think so. Again, why referrals? One, we like it because we think it's a great litmus test for just, are you doing a good job? If people are not referring, that's going to tell you something about your service. That's at the root of why we think this is so important, right? The ultimate arbitrage these days is doing a good job. Getting lots of referrals is a great indication of that metric. Are you or are you not doing a good job? If you are doing a good job, then you just have to make the ask. You have to have a good offer to entice people to come in, to take advantage of your service, and then put it in front of them systematically on a repeat basis. And that's why Bring a Friend Week works so effectively. Like, I tried to run the math on this. Like, this is a crazy number, but it's true. It's like over $60 million in recurring revenue for affiliates via that one mechanism. Like, it's a shitload of money for gyms.
You're talking how much we've helped gyms grow in revenue over the past 7 years via
Just
Bring a
with
Friend Week.
just Bring a Friend Week.
So, basically, you know, we were talking about my social media earlier. I realized early on, part of the reason I grew when I put effort into it so fast was I was never asking for anything. Like, I was like, I don't have anything to sell, right? Like,
Right.
And it was interesting because I've put up two things that were like selling essentially. One, Ice Age Meals gave me some food, right? And I was
Oh,
like, cool,
yeah.
I'll post about it. And like, because I rarely ask, like that blew up. Like, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
like people are following you, but it's like you follow people who are like, buy this thing for me, buy that thing for me. And it's like, eventually you're like, oh, this is just a commercial. I can unsubscribe.
Right.
Where so many people chimed in. And I was like, you know, from an affiliate owner perspective, I'm like, oh, like you just keep putting out value and people want to follow you. And you also build trust. People are like, oh, like I like what Ackerman's putting out. So when he talks about what he's eating. Okay. You know, then
Is that your dad, Jay?
Oh, that's a
Yeah,
homeless
well,
guy. Yeah.
yeah, it looks like it. Chaos. I think he was just telling me they were leaving.
Well, so
I
I think
needed-
if you think about the overall strategy, the strategy would look something like this, which is like, you build your personal brand, your gym brand, right? Meaning like I've got good communications, we communicate unique stories. It's not just like a panning fucking video of the 5 p.m. doing wall balls, right? Like there's characters in the story, there's depth to the things that we communicate on social media. You pay attention to some of the viral hooks in there and you can grow. Because I firmly believe that the strategy basically looks like, hey, build a decent social media brand, meaning 10 to 20,000, which is
What's decent? You say 10 to 20 for an affiliate is decent?
for a gym. You can be 5 Mile famous at 10 to 20,000 for sure.
Oh, dude, assuming 80% of those were local, you'd be like the mayor of your town.
That's what I'm saying, right? So now what you can do is you can start to leverage this further. So now you can do a couple different things. Now, when I do have an ask or a promotion, I'll get takers. 2, you can build an email list. 3, if I do start doing things like local SEO or Google ads, they will perform better, right? Because now I can take the content I'm making, I can repurpose it. I got podcasts, I got blogs, I got emails. And then eventually maybe you get to Facebook ads. But like if you're doing all of those things and if you want to get in direct mail at this point, everybody already knows who you are.
I would tell you this too. Like if I were, Virginia Beach and I had 10 to 20 following, I'd be like, hey, where's the coffee shop? Where's this shift combat? Like, let's create a little community because now I completely candid, like the number of people reaching out now that I've grown past 50,000, sending me stuff, asking me to do promotions. And I get that that's like worldwide, because you can sell things worldwide. It's like every day. So there's definitely a threshold there. And
right,
then
but 5 Mile famous is all you want to be as a gym.
No, for a boxing. But what's really cool is because I think it's because I'm always like, whenever I post, it's just like the location's Boulder. Like I go to Lifetime almost every day. Someone comes up to me and it's like I see your stuff. So it's kind of fun. It's like, oh yeah, you're like a little, and then you're like, oh, which one did you see? What did you see?
Well, and even tying it back to what we were saying before is like, how do I get more referrals and what should I post on social? When our clients like reach out to me because they know I run our marketing, they're like, what should I post? I'm like, you should make it easy for your members to share content because they're excited that they go to your gym. They want people to join them. And so the lens of like when I make social is like, I wanted stuff that my members are going to reshare. So when they do invite somebody, they're like, oh, I saw that picture of you with your PR at Modern Human. Or when I'm making these reels, it's like I'm making them look cool. So it's like, hell yeah, I want to post, I want to reshare this reel. Like, Christian made me look jacked or he showed me doing a pull-up.
Yeah, I think obviously the goal here, because we're kind of going down a social media rabbit hole, but here's the big takeaway with that is like, if you can get reach for free, why pay for it? That's the punchline, right?
Yeah.
But you can get reach without even going to social media. You have, I don't know, call it 100 members inside of your gym. That's 100 people that you can have an ask for and be like, hey, we're going to do bring a friend week, or you got your first box jump, or you made committed club, or like whatever. That's an opportunity to be like, hey, you're doing something cool. You are getting results and changing your life. Do you think somebody else would want to do that? Do you have somebody else in your sphere that would want to do that? And then you make the ask. And again, you're not going to outpace churn in most instances with a referral. The goal is just to offset it. If you are churning 3 to 4% and you can get 2%, now you're at 1.5 to 2% churn just based on referral to churn ratio, right? Now I don't need a crazy number of leads in order to grow. It's all a math game. So it's figuring out like, how do you mitigate churn so that you can outpace that? And everybody goes right past. Dude, I was talking to somebody yesterday. So I have 5,500 emails. Actually, I have 7,000 in one platform, 5,500 in the other for my gym.
Some of those are repeats, yeah.
No, they're just some of them. 5,500 people have been in my gym and signed a waiver in the past 10 years.
So in Wadify, you have those?
Yep. And then I was talking to a gym who was like, I forget, they were similar to me, maybe like 10 or 11 years. And I was like, how many emails do you have? He was like, oh, like 2,500. I was like, bro, that's a gold mine. Like that's people that you can market to. That's people that you can start communicating to and
Yeah,
providing
because
value
100 of
without.
them come. That means you have 2,400 leads.
Right. It's
Let's
like,
say
yeah,
some have
it's like,
left,
hey,
some have moved, but
these are people that have purchased before or walked in your gym and considered and didn't buy. So I'm like, I can either get them back or I can get them to get on the train the first time. So it's like, again, it's not this idea that like that it's like one or the other. I'm like, no, all of the lead sources are available to you. Like what we're trying to communicate is like your cost given the type of lead source that you are going to based on where you're at with the gym. Like if you're in a gym that's in phase 1 or 2, listen, you just don't have the money to run fucking paid ads. Like I don't know what the fuck else to say. I don't know
well,
what else
and
to tell you. You don't
even
have that
if
kind
you
of money.
even if for some reason you did, you don't have the systems and operations to
You
handle
don't have
the
the
influx,
systems,
so it
you
doesn't
don't have the
matter. Yeah.
sales machine to facilitate it, you don't have the data to run it correctly. You literally have nothing. It'd be like going to the casino with no money, sitting down to play a game that you don't understand, and I'm like, the person that would be running the table if you were doing fucking, I don't know, blackjack would look at you like you had 4 heads. Like you walked in and be like, "I'd like to make a bet on green." And he'd be like, "Hey, are you okay?" I don't know.
So
What table do you think you're sitting at?
let's do the following. I think this would be a good experiment. Let's rotate through. I'll go first, but right here at this point in the show, let's improve referrals, because I think a
Mhm.
lot of people are like, cool, this is great. Like, what do you do? So I'll say something for Christian. Like, let's just rotate through like best practices. You've touched on a few, but first thing first, just ask, right? And
Mhm.
that can look like many things. It could be like, hey Fern, you've been here 2 weeks now. You have a friend that might like this. It could look like the whiteboard, right? It could look like an email blast. Hey, anybody have a friend? What would you say, Fern? What else?
Well, I would double down on that. I would tell people if you have a goal, like again, we go back to you're trying to get 100. Like I think just some people forget to tell people that they have an objective. We were talking to a new gym the other day that we're working with who's in startup mode. I was like, tell people that your goal is 50 members. Don't hide the goal.
Yeah, they want to be a
Mhm.
part of it. They want to help hit that.
Yeah. So
Joel's
tell
been
people,
running
ask
our.
people, but tell them what you are trying to achieve.
Joel's been running our. We talked about this last week. He's been running sales specific coaching calls that have been on, and he's been telling all of us. He's like, put your goal up on the whiteboard, and I did that in my gym. We want to get 100 members, and I wrote down. I even have underneath that, this is how many leads, this is how many consults, this is how many new members we want, and then I've got like a bar graph that shows like how we're doing. And I've had members come up, they're like, hey, how are we doing? Where are we at? How many
Yeah, they
members we
feel
got?
like a part of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, this is how you these are little things that contribute to culture. Like if people are a part of it, then they're more invested in it, and then therefore they will be more likely to refer. Because I think that what everybody forgets is like when somebody refers, they're taking a risk
Mhm.
on you, meaning they'll be like, hey, I'm putting my reputation on your brand by telling this person to come here.
Well, and
So
and that's no different than like you watch a show, right? And you're like, there's shows where, or here's a better example. Like we all send each other quite a bit of podcasts or
Mhm.
Mhm.
Hormozy stuff, right? And it's like now that we've all learned a little bit, now that we've watched a lot, we're a little more filtered. And like, I'm not sending Fern this because I'm sending him saying, hey, spend 30, 62 hours of your time.
right,
It's got to be valuable enough. And it's
yeah,
the same, even
Yeah,
more
he's
so
been
when
really
it
curious
comes to
about
the
it.
gym, right? Like if I'm like, hey, Christian, come to this gym, and like, like hot yoga for me, I'm telling all my friends, I'm like, come with me, like take a class, like, because I've experienced it and it's great. You'll like it. But
yeah.
that's only the case if you're providing. So ask, provide, be transparent in what you're doing. And another one for the asking, like Roz is a great example of this. Like, we do family photos for us. So I've kind of seen how these photographers work. And I'm like, hey babe, like every time someone email, hey, you have like they're all moms. They run in these
Yeah.
groups, and it's nuts the number of people that she gets, because it's like, well, of course you gave them these great pictures. It's like they love it, and now they want other people to experience it. And often there's a reward associated with it, right? Like we could talk about the referral fee.
So I think that's the next thing, right? Is just like, A, you got to ask, be transparent about if you have an objective. I don't see any reason not to. And then there has to be incentive. And this is where I see a lot of people get this slightly wrong, meaning there's two people incentivized in a referral offer. The current patron and the potential patron. And a lot of people will only incentivize one of them. Incentivize both. Just make it mathematically in your favor that you won't, lose on the transaction. But if you only incentivize one, it will just be less effective.
So Joel had an idea that he dropped yesterday on the call that I think Sarah Murphy is going to run with. During their Bring a Friend week, she runs a get 75 off, get $75. So if you refer somebody,
70, get 70,
yep, the new member gets $75 off their first month, and then the member who referred them gets $75 cash. So what he's going to do, or what she's going to do, is she's going to have a jar of $75 worth of pennies sitting out. And when you get your referral, you can either you could take $75 cash, or you could take this whole jar of pennies. And the whole point of it was like making it fun, making it gamified, showing that like you can get this whole jar of pennies.
Hey, the real funny thing is you could probably just get away with putting $25 worth of pennies in there, and everybody would think it was
nobody would know.
It's crazy amount of pennies.
I've offered to make it rain. I'll tell my members, I'm like, hey, I can give you cash, or I can give you singles, and we can make it rain. And some of my members are like, dude, make it rain. And we just got singles.
Allison does that a lot.
So the second thing is incentivize both parties, right?
So
you need to.
We did this before. People, as always, poo-poo things that they don't understand. But the reason the 75 for Sarah Murphy works is, I don't know her exact rate, but I would imagine 40%. It's more than 150, right? So worst case scenario, that's not worst case, but you charge 150 and you're like, oh, I just listened to this 75 to the new member, right? Which, comes off their price. So they don't feel it. You don't feel it. It's just discounted. And then your current member gets, like you said, the jar pennies or 75 singles, etc. Worst case, if that's what you're charging, it's a wash. I would argue you're actually at a loss, right? Because it costs you money to acquire a new lead, even if it's a referral. There's
man hours involved in it,
and depreciation of all the things. But this is also assuming they stay for 1 month,
right?
Which means you've done a really bad job, right?
Yeah, never. This is not factoring in what is my LTV or lifetime gross profit of a client.
Yeah, how long they stay, how much they spend.
If you do all the little things that we talk about, which I was on the CrossFit Canada podcast.
Even in that shitty scenario, by the way, let's just say that you're, I don't know. Let's say that your CAC is $300, right?
That's how much it costs you to get a new client. And even if it's a referral, there's still a cost associated.
There's still a cost.
Take all of your expenses and divide it amongst your leads.
Right. So then I'm going to okay. And even that $75, it gets factored in there. But like your time to recoup that cost is negligible. It's not month one, which is what you would prefer, but it's not 9 months.
It's not a year from now.
No, it's not 9 months. Like I'm going to, it's next month. I'm going to recoup my cost in that. But this is before, if they pay for an onboarding, I'm like, yes, 100%.
And if you do 40%, which what we talk about is 40, so easy numbers, $100 to join Modern Human, current member gets 40, new member gets 40. Now there's still $20 coming into the gym. Now, of course, it'll be higher because most CrossFits charge more than $100. But the whole premise is, your length of engagement, and you have some contracts in place, so your members are staying 1 to 3 years. People that look at it short-sighted are just, for lack of better terms,
they're missing out.
They're dumb. Yeah. They're dumb people.
Well, also, if you look at it and you say, hey, let's say that your cost to acquire a customer is $300. You're like, well, that's how you would figure out, by the way, what you would go spend on an ad, just so they're all on the same page.
Hey, do a quick review of CAC, so people.
So cost to acquire customers, everything involved in acquiring customers. So this is like your website. If you're using something like Go High Level, your ad spend, if I'm paying hours for somebody to do the consult, like everything involved to acquire a customer. And then you would divide that cost across all new customers for the month, right? And that's how you come up with your cost to acquire a customer.
Yeah, because somebody might say, well, we don't do paid ads, but like your website,
right? You still have a cost to acquire a customer. It's just not.
Yeah.
What people are normally referring to there is just like they incorrectly attribute ad spend as CAC. Ad spend is part of CAC. Is part of CAC. So when you're looking at that, it's like, all right, well, I could spend up to $300 to acquire a customer, and if they stayed, it would be a profitable transaction for me. Now, I don't want to have to wait a year to recoup that. But the reality is like if you have a $2,700 lifetime gross profit on somebody, you're going to recoup that in a couple months, right? So you're not going to wait that long. And I don't want to have to spend $300. Maybe I'll just spend 75. Right.
And not to mention a referral is more often than not a better quality member who will more than likely stay longer.
Statistically, this is undisputed. Lower cost to acquire, longer length of engagement for referrals. Always.
I don't want to argue for both parties, right? Like if I bring my buddy to yoga or to the gym or wherever
You're
I'm
more
going,
likely to keep going.
Yeah, I'm like, this is more fun. My buddy comes here. He's going to reach out and be like, hey, we going to class today? Like all the things are going to happen. So referrals, we have obviously asked, we have be transparent. We have a referral fee.
Yeah, have an offer.
Know what I've seen on social media that I'm going to bring to our clients? There's this new kind of like trend where you do like something funny. Like you have a QR code and it's like, watch Christian fail this 185 bench. And it's like the QR code, but then it takes you to like, hey, by the way, we have a referral fee. So it's like drawing the attention of your members to scan it. I've seen like Globo gyms doing it, like funny something on the wall, but then it like takes you to like something important.
Hey, it's like, hey, watch this video and refer somebody, please. Yeah.
Well, on that note, one thing that we haven't touched on is make it easy.
Yeah. So yes.
Like what do they need to do next? Because it's like your friend, your members want to invite their friends, so you just need to tell them like, what do you need to do to invite your friend? Like, because they're like, how do I bring them in here? Do I bring them to class? Do I send them to the website? Do I like text you? Like, make it super simple and easy to bring them in.
And not to harp on this, but the yoga studio that I go to has an app. I did 30 yoga classes in 30 days, which I'm going to post about. But
that's why you haven't been working. Okay.
It's 1 hour. You've been working out every day too. For
still going.
But every time you go to a class, like it has your upcoming classes. But when you go to book it, right next to the book button is bring a friend. Like every single class.
That's smart.
Yeah, like bring a friend. I've never clicked on it, so I don't know how easy it is because I've never brought anybody.
But the point is, you're thinking about it.
Yeah, I'm like, it's why I've mentioned it to people because I'm like, it's got to be easy. It's literally right there.
Well, part of this whole thing is is understanding the volume of communication required to put somebody into consideration, right? So meaning the number of times I need to tell somebody. We all know that nobody pays attention to anything, particularly in today's world. So you have to communicate that there's an offer and have to do it in a number of ways. So like when a lead comes through, you could communicate it there. When they sit down for a consult, you can communicate it there. When they buy, you can communicate it there. When they get a PR or something, you can communicate it there. During Bring a Friend Week, you can communicate it there. And there will still be people that will just be like, wait, we have a referral? Because they saw you hand out cash at the whiteboard and you're like, Christian, you've been here for 8 years, dude. What is wrong with you? Right? Like,
well, and it's funny too, because like Christian's joking about the making it rain, but I've mentioned Allison Jakowski of Odin, who was on the show last week. $1 Million Box, and it's like because that's another reminder. Like when people see it raining, they're like, "What's happening?"
Yeah, whether it's that or a jar of pennies, like you're making it memorable.
A jar of pennies would be good. Hey, off topic. Let me run something by you, Fern.
Fuck.
It's gonna be quick. Because we're gonna go into yoga studios next, right?
No,
because I've got something really important figured out for yoga studios. Want to hear it?
No.
Real quick. So yoga studios make one of these two mistakes every time. You walk in, their front desk is either one of two people. The person who's about to bring peace and meditation into my life asking me for money, right? Like they're like, hey, we're going to go do this yoga thing. Do you want to talk about your membership? Right. And I'm
Namaste.
Right. Namaste. Or someone who's bartering for free to get a free yoga membership. Like that's kind of how yoga works. It's like the
front desk person is there just for free membership.
Yeah. It's like, but they're not personable.
Yeah.
Necessarily. Right. They just want to exchange. So I think that's I've been thinking about that as we expand into.
So the whole business is getting predicated on yoga studios just getting a front desk person.
It would go a long way. I can tell you that. Like
this is such a good example, Jay, of what we teach affiliate owners not to do, where
What's
it's
that?
like, you don't need extra programs, you don't need specialty things, just like keep focusing on the main
Front
thing.
desk person.
Yeah, it's. But are you saying me keep focusing on the
Yes,
main thing?
no,
Oh,
this
yeah.
is me. You're the affiliate owner in this scenario that we're telling you, no, you don't need to go do this
Okay.
extra thing.
Yeah, I always talk about like I always think about it like the further you get down the business rabbit hole, the more you realize it's all the same, right? And it's
It's
like,
all the
oh,
same.
like right, it's no different than hey, jujitsu hasn't reached out to me still about an injury, right? And it's like all the same thing, and it's like, oh,
Clip
like
this, they're gonna like it and then still not reach out.
right, and it's like just and it's the same at the box, like customer service, like be good at your job, right? Like
Listen,
put the right
and the
people in there.
and
Because
everybody falls
a
short
good
in this.
front
Like
desk person,
nobody does this perfectly, by the way, right? So it's just like the goal is just to continue. Like we don't do it perfectly at Rife, we don't do it perfectly at Best Hour, like it. But the goal is to continue to try to improve it all the time. You're like it's the game of incrementalism. I'm incrementally trying to communicate this. I'm incrementally trying to engage my members better. I'm incrementally trying to increase my awareness and social media presence in that area. It's all incrementalism. That's all it is. It's like 1 to 2% every single day, all the time. And going back to like, how would you do this is like, I always joke that like you can have the offer and it still won't perform well. Like everybody stop doing bring a friend day. Why? Because statistically it doesn't work. A week works for many. When this doesn't work, people change the play. Don't change the play for bring a friend week. Why? Because there's conservatively 5,000 reps on this play, meaning thousands of gyms have run it multiple times, right? I've been running for 6 years. It still consistently brings in 30 people, 30 people plus 3 times a year when we run it
that's
consistently
impressive.
after 6 years, right?
Yeah. And I mean,
we could tune it up better. There are clients at this point that I would argue run it better than we do.
Oh, Capu and Boucher come to mind. Like they
Right.
both crush Bring a Friend Week, and it's time and time. And Louis, it would be another one on Long Island. Like so many that are 30 to 50. I mean, Capu will get like 6. Boucher, I think, has the record in the 70s. It's nuts,
dude. Think about this: if you're one of those gyms, right? If you're my gym, and you get 30 people to show up 3 times a year, that's 90 people, right? That's the equivalent of 8 leads per month.
I was gonna say, if you close on conservatively a third of those, which would be low, that's 30 new members a year. That's essentially all the growth you need. That's a little less than net 3,
It won't
obviously,
offset
but
churn, but it would probably zero out your churn. It won't help you grow, but it'd
yeah,
probably zero out your churn for a lot of people.
yeah, and it's just a huge boom uptick. Look at Brittany commenting on
So
your
I
shirt.
think you have to put it in a system where you can run it systematically, and then you continually tweak and refine the system, right? How you reach out to people, how you engage with them, what do you do while they're there in the gym that week? How do you do your follow-ups? When do you do your follow-ups? What's the offer? Like all of these things happen, but those are the minutia that start to basically impact your conversion rate. If you just run the basic version of it, what you're going to have on your hands is a lot of opportunity. Now, whether you can take advantage of the opportunity or not, that's where the details matter. But the fact of the matter is that like you can get 15 to 30. Dude, we've seen untold number of people do 50 plus people in a week at this point. Like meaning have 50 opportunities walk in the door in a week, right? There's no fucking marketing campaign you could run on any platform that's going to give you that's going to be worth it. Definitely not one
And
that's fucking free.
That high of a qualified lead.
Right. It's like, cool. So why is this important? Because it's the cheapest, most high converting form of acquiring new clients that you could possibly ever ask for. You just got to do a good job.
Every year when you're looking at your calendar, which you should be doing, if you haven't done it yet, do it now, start in April, but put them on there three times a year, the weeks you're going to do it. You'll learn like, hey, this was a good week. I'm sure over 6-7 years, Fern, you've like tweaked the actual weeks. Like you're like, oh, it turns out New Year's week is not great, but the second week of the year is great. Not during the open, but maybe right after the open, like lots of,
there's gonna be experimentation with like where there's definitely some places you wouldn't put it, but outside of that, I'm like, hey, you got to throw a dart at the calendar, pick a date, and then you just measure it moving forward because we're going to do it every year until the end of time.
If you're listening to this right now, the first thing I would tell you is today when you're coaching or the next time you coach, hey guys, Anybody have a friend they want to bring in? Then, if you haven't already done it, put Bring a Friend Week on the calendar.
Do this just to confirm what I already know at the whiteboard. Ask every class today. Be like, do you guys know what our referral offer is? I would be willing to bet if 50% or less do not know.
The assumption is they have one, right? But if you don't have one, put it together. 40% of your rate, make it an even number, make it sound pretty. Almost always works. There's probably examples where it doesn't, but 40%. I love that, Sarah Murphy. By the way, she got 15 new members last month.
Crazy.
Yeah. You know what? She made me feel good because I gave her like, we hopped on a call. We kind of laid out exactly what to do. And then she texted me. I kind of forgot about it. And then a month later, she was like, you still got it. And I was like, of course I do. But what are we talking about? And then she was like, I got 15 new members. I was like, I love when Sarah, many people hop on my calls and they're like, all right, I've asked Joel and Max, but I want to get the right answer now. And I'm like, you've come to the right place. They only do that because they know it makes me feel good. But it's cool. But what's really cool actually is how in alignment everyone on our team is, right? Like whether it's the biz dev team or you, Christian, or even like I hear Cody sometimes like yapping about stuff. I'm like, it's so cool to see how much they've learned by like default just from being around the thing, and how we're almost always like giving the exact same, not just like broad advice, but like pretty nuanced advice. And it's almost always like, are you doing the basics? Okay, let's go back and do that thing, you know? Comes from you, Fern. It's trickle down.
Well, I mean, I didn't. I learned that from other people, right? That's not my idea. Do the basics. That's like Greg into seminar staff, down to me, down to everybody else, right? Like
when you think you've learned them, go back and do them again.
It's not.
Well, speaking of learning, we just did a webinar. The link is in the comments. If you want to dig more into referrals and how to get more referrals in your gym, check out the Referral Flywheel webinar that Fern and I put on. And
we're going to do detailed breakdown in like how much this offsets your churn and lead flow shortfalls if you have them, and why this shit is so important. Because there's a lot of ways to acquire customers. I would argue most of them are high risk, high cost, and this is not. So
this is, and again, when you do this right, it's cheap and easy.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what you want.
Is this tomorrow's webinar?
No.
That's live right now. Yeah.
You can watch it right now.
Rob Nitz, new AU client along with his wife Rachel, spelled with an AE. I've learned Rachel Nitz. Yeah, really great. This is the guy I was talking about, Christian. He reads the Bible every day. I said, "What's your favorite book?" He said, "The Bible."
Let's go, Rob.
That's
it. He knows what's up.
He knows what's up. I told him to read the first half. He only reads the second half.
Yeah, you should read both halves. Actually, I'm trying to get you to read the second half, Jay.
The sequel is not as good. Anyway, that
by the
great.
way,
I think
Vincent, tell your wife to hit me up about whatever questions you want to ask.
Gonzaga. That's like Gonzaga, huh? Basketball. Is March Madness starting, Fern?
We're in the midst of it. We just finished all the conference championships. I'm still really, really fucking upset that Navy missed out, and they got a bid to NIT, but I'm still.
So NIT is like, I mean, lack of better terms, like the JV NCAA tournament. Like all the NCAA teams can go.
Yeah, kind of. It's basically like the consolation prize if you were like left out a little bit. It's in New York.
So even if you win the NIT, though, you're like, we didn't even make the big dance.
Yeah, technically.
Yeah.
Don't you guys have to go?
We do. I mean, but again, it's better than nothing, right? It's better.
Yeah,
like if you're a senior, you want your season extended. But
I almost sent you this clip that I saw. It was basically a ref allowing in a basketball player like at a weird time just so he can say like I played in the NCAAs.
Oh yeah, they do that all the time.
Yeah, I was like, Fern probably would appreciate this.
That's coaches try to do that. It's like it's a once in a lifetime thing for most people.
You say like, hey kids, I played in the NCAA. Yeah. This weekend is wrestling. The D2 and D3 happened last weekend, and then this weekend's the so Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'm not going to be working, guys.
The brackets are made this week, and then it'll kick off next week, I think. So
Cool. All right. Yeah, I do have to go. Fern has to go. I'll admit you guys, I enjoy these chats. Hiding from my parents. It's chaos here.
Awesome. Well, subscribe, go watch the
Share with a
webinar,
friend.
and
Tell a
refer a
friend.
friend. Bring a friend.
To tell a friend. Yeah, refer. Go check out my Instagram. I like it. Fern, 100K coming. I'm getting some cool stuff. I got my first deal with money being exchanged. It's like cool. It's like this thing works.
You just gotta send pictures of your feet.
Yeah. I gotta paint my toenails and send pictures of my feet. But
all right,
anyway,
I gotta go.
Christian,
Run a good referral offer. If you got questions, hit us up.
You're not gonna hear from Fern for the next few weeks. It's gonna be me, Christian, and some guests. We're gonna have some fun on the podcast. Make sure to be there.
We'll see you next week.
Thanks for checking out this episode of the Best Hour of Their Day podcast. We appreciate you listening and choosing to have us help you in your passion for coaching and affiliate ownership. You can find more episodes just like this on all podcast platforms. If you're interested in learning more, you can reach out to us on any social media platforms, or you can visit www.besthouroftheirday.com to book a call. If you found this episode helpful for you, please share it so that we can help other coaches and affiliate owners to help build a bigger and stronger CrossFit community. Thanks for listening.